Guys, do you hear me well, right? Do you hear me well? Tôi nghe cô rõ không? Yeah. Do you hear me well? Okay. Okay, I will share my screen. Can you see my screen? Let me show you my screen. Okay, I show you my screen. Okay. Uh, I will got the first sections. I just introduced to you about the COVID-19. Okay, what is COVID-19? Number two, I will got some of the statistics about COVID-19. Number three, I will give you some of the action from our government and our university, and this is my conclusions.
Yeah.
This is the definition. Yeah. Yeah.
We wonder about the definitions of coronavirus and symptoms.
Yeah, I know. So I will show you the definition of coronavirus here. You will see that this is the definition of coronavirus in WHO website, and you can see that they not mention anything about Wuhan, anything about Chinese, and the only thing they want to show us is the infectious disease, and it will give will recover without requiring special treatment. I know. Okay. So I will share to you the slide of the symptom of the COVID-19, and you already know, and you already repeat many those times today about those symptoms, right? First of all, you got high fever. Second, you will tired, and number three, you will got the right cough. Okay, and your body temperature can be exist 37 continuously. You will divide into, you got pupil and you got surface. Pupil means that you have to care about the pupil. That's why we got the word social distance. You got social distance around at least around 2 meters, right? And about the surface, you will have to some, like you cannot touch the surface, and you have to clean your surface regularly. This is the when you got infected with COVID-19, you will got some of the system, and you have to check you got negative or positive to this virus. I will show you some of the statistics later. Okay, our statistics numerous data around 3,000 people report in case in the March 2012, and 3.4 global deaths. This is the map of the virus corona, and CDC's warns against the non-essential travel, and some of the confirmed cases in the blue area. Okay, sorry, I have to. Okay, continuously. We got 5 countries with the highest number of cases here. You can see that you can got USA now become the top 10. I didn't mention anything about the death rate. I only mentioned 2 columns, the total cases and the total recover, to get to you the positive line in our virus, in our case today now. The number 2 is Spain, number 3 in Italy, number 4 France, and number 5 in Germany. Can you guess Which country is number six? Can you guess? Can you hear me? I'll show you the top five. Can you guess which number three is on the sixth ranking? Tụi em có thể đoán được là nước nào là nằm ở vị trí thứ sáu không? China, Hoàng, China, Quế, China, everyone, China. Why don't have China? Yeah. Any other ideas? Ai có ý kiến nào nữa không? China. Okay. Yes. Absolutely, it's not China. It is UK. Okay. UK has become the sixth ranking top of the five. The highest number of the case for China. Okay. It is the statistics from the World Domestic, and this is the number in Vietnam now. Vietnam know that, okay, and 270 cases now, and it is nearly 8 days that we don't have any virus case until now. Yeah, you feel positive? You feel safe in Vietnam? Guys, do you feel safe in Vietnam? Guys, can you hear me? Student, can you check and you will turn on the mic, please? Turn off the mic, please. Okay, please turn off the mic, please. Okay, me and yeah, turn off the mic, please. It's okay, right? It's okay, right? Okay, we continue that. I want to show you this is the number in Vietnam. Do you feel safe in Vietnam now? Can we say bravo and we say applause to our Vietnam that we are very safe in Vietnam. We got only 270 virus case. Yeah, can you hear me? So this is the total number of the coronavirus cases in the worldwide, and this is the number that I update in on 23 April. It's nearly around 2 million cases now. Okay, some of the another statistic here. The figure here, you can see that the male got the higher mortality rate. Can you guess why the male got higher mortality rate? Class? Male got higher mortality rate involved in the COVID-19 compared with the female. Can you guess why? Can you give me some of the reason? Okay, June, unhealthy habits. What is unhealthy habit from the male? More specific? Smoking. Okay, smoking. More smoking. Vĩnh smoking. And smoking. Drinking beer. Smoke. Work too much. Drinks. Okay. Exactly. All of you guys say exactly, right? Male smoke a lot. That's why they got the number of the case in male higher than the woman. And not only smoking, they are not very cautious. They not care. Some they very don't care about the virus. Okay. Okay. This is the figure number 2. This figure you obviously understand, right? You can see that the number of the elderly here are very high. And when the virus corona they involve with us, you can see that a lot of elderly like from 45 years old to around 89 years old. It's elderly and they are quite old. They will involve. They are more chance to involve to our virus corona. Okay, all of you guys, when you learn my PR, you learn consumer behavior of my class, or even you learn my brand management, you always already talked to you about insight, okay, consumer insight here. And then you got the word, this is my data. I collect that about the insight from the coronavirus. Okay, move on. In our consumer behavior, our habit now, they will delay large purchase. Can you define to me what is delay large purchase mean? Can you guess what does it mean? Delay large purchase. Any ideas? Yeah, food, basic needs. Anything else? Delay large purchase. Yeah, paper rolls. Okay, delay large purchase means that the consumer now they always want to saving and saving a lot. They don't want to spend much. Okay, and because of the economic crisis and in US they got a lot of the unemployment. In Vietnam as well. In Vietnam we got also a lot of unemployment cases, uh, especially in hospitality industry, in travel tourism industry. Okay, so they tend to be saving and they don't want to spend more money. 42 per 42% now they plan to cook at home. They don't want to spend out, they don't want to go to the parties. And but however, the number here, the number 3 and 7 hour they will spend on the social media and the e-commerce will be the top ranking now for you to got the to change your consumer buying behavior. You will tend to buy on your e-commerce because this will be safe rather than you buy on the supermarket continuously. You guys, you can read the slide. I give you another consumer insight. Okay, and on our this consumer insight is come from the corporate. What is the corporate? When you are stay at home working, you will tend to use a lot of Google Meet, Zoom, and Adobe, uh, and there's a lot of the smart tool for you to connect, to chat, to work. Okay, based on this, the cyber security will be on the top tech priority for all of the company. When you are work at home, please you have to be secure to your data, and you will not leak out your information to the another. Okay, number three, acts from the government and the Hoang University.
Yeah, I am a student of Hoang University, so I think that our university get e-learning, right?
Yes, exactly. E-learning now is one of the best tool and the effective tool for Hoang University, right? And Hoang University, you are already they familiar with e-learning. Okay, and I will show you some of the slide of our government and our e-learning system. Okay, very familiar to all of the students, to all of the you guys here about the COVID-19, the prevention of the government now. They tend to closer of the overland border and crossings. Okay, there is suspension of live flight from the mainland China and South Korea. However, until now they ban all of the flight. Okay, international flight, and we end up the social distance time period, and now we want to our government try to open the domestic flight. Okay, we got a lot of the act from our government. For example, we cancel all of the festival, all of the parties, and until now that the massage store cannot be open. Okay, and I heard from the news that our university will be open on 4th of May. You guys, are you happy? Our university will be open on 4th of May. Are you excited? Vui mà. You excited? No? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Multi party, yeah, multi party teacher. But in please take note that when we are go to school, when we are go to university, we have to social distance, right? I already told you, right? And one student, one table. Okay, okay. One student, one table. Okay. Okay, so we will meet together on 4th of May. My pleasure to meet you guys. Okay, and how can we? And how about our university? Our university do a lot of things for the digital platform. We got the fan page, okay, and you guys, you already familiar with our fan page, and we got a lot of live stream to educate to you about the marketing, about the accountants, and specify each of the subject. For example, here and in Hoa University, we got the word HSU Zoom Zoom. HSU Zoom Zoom is the kind of the live stream that we live stream a lot of things about what is marketing, what is accounting, what is finance, and we specify how can we enter to these universities, how can we prepare. We are you ready for the subjects? Okay, I show you one clip that is my e-learning system. Brand management, you already know that. This is my system about brand management class. Okay, so e-learning of Hoa Sen University, we can put a lot of slides, we can put the books. I have to check to you. I gave you the assignment, and on the due day, you have to submit the assignment. And I can also upload the videos on the YouTube as well. So many kinds of the function in our e-learning system. Okay, and you guys, you already familiar with that, and I think that in our Vietnamese universities and I only saw that our university got this system. The other the university, I didn't see any kinds of the system. And furthermore, we got turn it in. All of the student they hate turn it in. Turn it in is one of the software to check plagiarism. Okay, okay. I just got you to brief introduction about virus corona and how our university act and some of the brief statistics. And my conclusion is stay in Vietnam is very safe and please study at our university. Yeah. Okay. uh, Further, when we I just give you the brief introductions, and now Mr. Hoang will further deep down on how to plan recovery in corporate and in the other system. Okay, Mr. Hoang.
Okay, thank you, Miss Thuyan, for introduction. Good to hear that in Vietnam you guys safe, stay at home, and now the lockdown has been open, and the restriction has been eased for the whole student and other people as well. Um, okay, so I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see that. Hello everyone. Can you guys see my screen? Oh, good. Okay. Sorry, because this is my first time using this. Okay. Um, Today, so I'm gonna, I'm really pleased to be invited to share with you guys about, how the brands can survive during the crisis, with all the situation around the world, Vietnam, Australia. But I think that Mr. Thuyan just covered what happened in Vietnam. We are doing great. All the companies, like some of them, maybe in fact, been impacted as well. Um, Okay, so my topic will be like how brands can survive the crisis. But you guys, this one is more interactive session. Stop me anytime. If you have any question, um, feel free to stop me. Unmute yourself and ask me any question. Maybe the MC can help me with that. Um, I just don't know how. Am I look in front of screen or because I just look at my PowerPoint and just keep talking. But if I hear any noise, I will stop because I can't see my face or can't see you guys' face as well. So my agenda today will be like first thing we introduce about myself as a speaker, what I'm doing, my experience. Secondly, will be how coronavirus is impacting the global economy and the brands, any all the company actions in the short and long term, some case study with some brands when they react about this situation in their countries and in the situation. Um, and also share with you my point of view about digital transformation and why that would be an effective crisis response to the most of the company, and then it become my conclusion and Q&A session. Um, so first of all, like myself, my name is Hoang. I'm born in Vietnam. I just moved here in Australia. I'm working as a telemarketing operation manager in APAC for an agency called Market One. Um, I had actually almost 20 years of experience doing marketing, doing sales, BD, um, PR, market research, all kinds of, B2C and B2B industries. Um, yeah, that's about myself. If you want to ask like furthermore about myself, I can like, I'm happy to answer more. But yeah, let's move on. Um, don't want to say
Yeah,
anything?
how
Okay.
I just want to ask questions like
Mm-hmm.
how coronavirus impact the economy and brands.
Yeah, that's kind of the similar question or familiar question that I'm facing every day, or even like since the beginning of this year, how coronavirus is impacting the whole global economies and brand. So I think as you guys might know that I'm living in Australia, and we just experienced the bushfire like last year and early this year, and after everything is like just wrapping up, and then suddenly coronavirus just come happens, and it's a second class of all the worst situation that we have to face as well. It's kind of it's the nightmare that we have to face. But yeah, and I mean, everyone said that that is a pandemic, that is something like in fact or impact your health rather than treat as a grief. It's like it's not like not a like a dead zone, right? We still like survive, we still alive, we still doing our like normal day, just changing our behavior, changing our lifestyle, instead of come to the office every day maybe we have to work from home. But of course, that is a real impact on the economy, on the brands, or the governments. They put a lot of money in front of the company, helping the like frontline workers and people who can't cope with the working from home, so that they might lose their job. Yeah, it's a lot. But then there's some case study that we've been seeing around the world, especially in the US. Let's say last week, there is more than 5 million people have filed for the unemployment like documentation that admits that really coronavirus shutdown is really impacting on the employment of the American people. This is the side of one of the shop is very famous in Louisiana or New Orleans. They closed. Of course, most of the restaurants closed, like keep social distancing. Can't, just have the luxury that open cafe or food restaurant or the retail shop, like being closed down. In Australia, here same. Like the big city, livable city, like Melbourne, Sydney, people can't just open up the restaurant. Let's say last week, as I heard the news that McDonald's just closed all the shop in Singapore, and even though that they can't afford to run the takeaway options. Yeah, it's so sad. Some of the government, like here in Australia, they have a lot of um, subsidy, or they have a package that support the job seeker and someone who can save their job. The government also support a company who can pay the job keepers as well, which is, that is all the government now, thinking of the policy that put in place. Um, with the major sport event, I think it's really impact too. You guys might know that there will be a Tokyo Olympics event that is a huge, every 4 years, Olympics game is now postponed to next year, right? It's a lot of events like basketball, NBA can running, football, soccer, Australian Grand Prix, Formula One just cancel, just 1 week before it's locked down. Everyone just come in place, but one case from Hamilton teams is got infected, and then it's whole the event is cancelled. Even like it's not possible, it's cancelled. And Vietnam, I think that we put a lot of money to prepare for the Grand Prix, like Formula One, first time ever, happened in Vietnam. Vingroup sponsored that, working with Hanoi government to set up all the code to play this. But then everything is postponed. Yeah, you may see the European football had been delayed, postponed to 2021. Yeah, I mean, Tour de France, is I think postponed to September this year. Yeah, it's impact a lot. And this one is a snapshot of the whole like entire industries that impact by the coronavirus, which is like the biggest one is travel and transportation. You guys can see that all the tour booking have been canceled because no one can travel anymore. Airlines shut down. Here Virgin Airlines, I think, is going to bankrupt very soon if no one actually really pack them up. Like no investor put money on because they are a private company, private organization. So the government not gonna spend any money to save them, because even though that is a really big industry, really important industry, but if they're private, it's not contest. The government gonna spend any money to save them because they are not, the most priority company to be, to be safe. And actually, there's some industry like banking and financial services is impact a little bit about the revenue, because I think the customer gonna more money, but they're still up and running, it's still going. Energy and resources. Of course, you guys may see now the petrol price is very cheap. People not gonna go anywhere, so that's why they reduce, like the consumption of, like petrol and gas. Healthcare sector and science, of course, the operation is going to impact quite a lot. If people have other diseases, of course, that like maybe impact on the speed of how they can get the treatment, or like the bed that have to save for the ICU for the people like infected with the coronavirus. So health and life, science, even though they're still running, it's still okay. People like supporting a lot with the frontline workers, but it's still happening. High tech and telecommunication, it just impact on the supply chains. If like the border shut down, of course they can't just like transfer, or they can't import export the stuff across. That's still happening. If they're producing software or the cloud-based solution, I think it's still doing okay. But in terms of the revenue that it will impact, I will show you the next slide that to see how the revenue actually impact by this kind of pandemic. Um, Media and entertainment, of course, when people moving across different channels, they move from digital, they're moving from traditional channels to more digital mobile platform, mobile channels. So that's also impact, their revenue and operations. Public sector, I think that the government or public sector have to run at their most efficiency to make sure that helping the people, the country, cover up with all the policy or customer service. People need help a lot during this time. Retail, absolutely, we'll be moving on from go to the shopping, move to e-commerce and online shopping. Manufacturing, of course, like it's gonna be in fact quite a lot because people like reduce the consumption, not purchasing anymore, they're saving money. So there is just some essential manufacturing that is still happening, but a lot of them, luxury things, the fashion, it's I don't think that people will spend more money on something is not really essential. Any questions so far? So I know it's like being boring because keep talking about how it's impact, but I think the larger business have less impact because they might have a lot of like money, cash flow, or the stock that they have in their the company. But like the most impact area will be the micro business and small businesses. Like people, like company less than 10 people or less than 100 people will be impact quite a lot because the cash flow that's trapped. They can't actually like make the payroll to their staff, so they have sadly to let the staff go or stand out as stand by or something like that as well. And it's really hard to maintain inventory now because they don't really know what's happening with their business, whether they can still running the business. So I think that it's really hard during this time for most of the business is shutting down. um, but with the medium size and the bigger company, they still have a chance to look through to the strategy to make the company survive. um, so how actually the whole situation is happening, like immediate impact from the beginning of this year, because most of the business company, they really have a like a sense of what's gonna happen, because China will be the really big like manufacturing base, or the market they tapping quite a lot. So that's why when the coronavirus is start from Wuhan, I think that they have a signal. They know that they're gonna prepare. They have all the approach very quickly. They have discussion internally. Every month, every week, every day about like what happening, what gonna impact their business. So the budget will be cut on your advertisement and field event. They're moving across, like from different methodology. Employee care, they put in a front to make sure that like the people like will be care the most. and they start, the adaptation culturally on the working from home or working at home, some business. What happening with, the customer challenges, with existing customer, the cash flow going to impact because they will be delayed to pay some invoices. And the deployment, if the project have to be deployed, that will be, like a little bit delayed. And the cost reduction, maybe the company have to accept to give some discount, to make sure that is the business still keep running, right? With a new customer or new business, all the factor will be included as above. But then, the project rollout like will be paused or will be impact because, uncertainty of, this kind of situation, and, like compelling offers, the offers may be changed or maybe cancelled. Yeah. I
Yeah.
Anyone is still follow me, or like you guys falling asleep?
Yes, I am. I have a one question that what is the most effective marketing channel during the crisis?
um I remember that, last night I looked at, one of your class question that someone asked me, or asked, the speakers about what is the most effective marketing tool during the crisis. Actually, I would say, moving across the channel rather than the tool, because the tool is still working, but, in on which channel. I think, at the moment now, some channel is still working like digital and mobile, because people like still, checking the phone. They still go online doing some stuff. They still, like talking or communication or collaboration with each other via, digital tool or digital channels. So digital and mobile is still working okay or even well, but the rest of the, channel will be impacted. Television, I doubt that, like you might want to put more money on that channel. Uh, Digital, or sorry, traditional, press media. I think that people will stop, like spending more money on press media. Um, and radio, of course, radio is still running, but, it's still impact quite a lot because, people, they don't really, have time to spend that a lot. Um, and out of home, panels or anything like, on the street, that will be, stop. You might see that, like Coca-Cola, they said like, okay, they stop the budget on, advertisement on the billboard or the big channel, outside. So yeah, traditional media is record a worst diff in Asia. I think that, it's same in around the world. But, this is channel. They might have a chance, to grow. We keep doing, but, most of the company they're not really, ready, for the marketing campaign is running on digital. That, what I will mention, for the next few slides about digital transformation. Um, Okay, so this slide, I'm gonna answer one of your last question about, what is customer behavior, during this, pandemic. Actually, you might have seen that, for the last few months there is a rush of toilet paper and other necessities, in the face of, coronavirus. But actually, that has been explained. That is a natural behavior response to the loss of like a psychological control. When people can't control, for the things that they can buy, they just, like gonna buy anything that they can control. So I think that, toilet paper is a very easiest, things that, people keep, like, wrapping. I think it's just more Western countries. It's like not happening in Vietnam because I think that, they don't really care about, toilet paper too much. But in here, whatever they can't control, they will, try to have that, in control. It's like whatever I can grab, whatever I see in the news that people have panic, even though that the news showing that they are panic, the more panic that like they will buy. Yeah, but then now like all the toilet paper is like all in the shelf in here, even though that I think that they can't just sell more because people have a bunch of at home. It's over. um, so when they can't control something, that we try to have that in control. um, okay, so a company, they might have a short-term strategy, will be in place to make sure that they can cover up or they can be survived in the short term. But of course, if the big company or they have like the long-term strategy, they might will be prepared for the future after this coronavirus over. That is very essential that the company now just looking back to their basic, invest into more, understanding their 4P, their core value, and their branding strategy to make sure that that we have some sort of action plan after the pandemic. Okay, so most of the company that were running the business continuity plans in the short term, internal communication will occur regularly with clear and honest messages. That is something that I have seen or I'm facing in here in Australia. So people not hiding the stuff, but they don't really scare more people. They don't really scare more about this the fact of this coronavirus. Of course, like with all the scientific or it's all on the real fact, that we let the scientists, the health worker or the health specialist, we talk about that, or even the government officer. Then we have like announced officially about the policy. So the company they not gonna make any more rumor or it's not any more biased communication about this. They just have like very clear, very concise, very honest message about what happening around the world, what happening like in the industry, in the like around the company, and then there will be short-term projection and forecast put in place where people like start discussing. They used to do that like for annually, biannual, quarterly, monthly, but now everything is happening weekly. Like in my company, I have to do the forecast every week, like for the next 3 weeks or the next 4 weeks, to see like what happening. Do we still have enough cash to pay the employees, to pay the staff, or do we have like to find more sales lining up in terms of maintain the invoice going out or anything like that. And the customer care, of course, after employee care, they put in front. The customer care will also be prioritized by showing and say like, hey, we are here to help you during this situation, and we are figuring out how we can help you guys. Not try to like grab more money, because I know that you've been impacted and then you are in the very very difficult situation already. So we are just here to help and figure out how we can help you better. And the most of the company will be sensitive about the message, with the tons of the messaging, like they try to turn down their tones, and then they maintain communication cadence with the customer, even just picking up the call and say like, hey, how's it going, like we just here to help, just try to help you. It's not anything that we pushing or chasing or forcing you do business with us. It's just more are you okay, just taking care of the customer and their families. And they think they say, then they make customer feel with the empathy, like it's empathetic message, and never use any coronavirus or COVID-19 as a marketing hook for any business. That like what I learned or what I found in a Western country, or in Australia here. They have never had any like package or new products or new solution about coronavirus or COVID, because I think that's enough. that's enough scare of people nowadays. They don't really want to keep repeating and use that as a like the keyword, where people searching about COVID-19 and then your products or your solution is pop up. That is not genuine way to do business. And the company that they replaced face to face with the voice to voice through telemarketing, that like where I'm doing, or my team is doing, and they take the physical conference and seminar presentation to online as a webinar. And they have each other, their own way of like free business and free services offering. So I think that you guys might see that after this session, Miss Thuyan gonna, give you guys a prize if anyone is more interactive with me, asking me any question. Maybe she will offering you guys, some free, education service offering. Am I correct, Miss Thuyan?
Contribution mark.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, contribution mark for my class. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I just do the checking to see if you guys still listening or just like falling asleep. Stop me anytime.
Yeah,
If
right.
stop me anytime if you feel that I'm talking too much, because I think that's my style. Okay. Yeah, back to my slide. Actually, MarTech or marketing technology, we help the company we communicate better or faster with the customer if they have, they have been invest into this kind of, tool or platform. And there is some case study around the world about, like what brand actually react about this, coronavirus. Okay, here is the one of the case that I want to bring it on. We are all being told that, hey, stay at home. But what if you don't even have a home to stay, right? It's a bunch or a lot of people, that is even young people with a homeless situation. Like that's happening, sadly, that's happening in, I think in Vietnam, same, in Australia, we have a lot of youth homeless. In America, it's all around the world, that situation. And then Kia Motors, they donate $1 million to add, homeless youth during the coronavirus, pandemic. Of course, like in here, they're not gonna try to sell any more cars or try to just PR themselves. But I think that of course to them, right, $1 million is not big, but I think that is very good cause that they make. And then it's more inspire other company that follow through. Maybe Toyota, maybe like Ford or other company will follow through this kind of action, and then make the world like better, or like care of more people with actually in this situation homeless youth. And that's the reason why I want to put this case that okay, a company like Kia Motor, they donate money to help the people who've been impacted by the crisis. They not try to use the crisis to sell more of their products or their service or their business. Of course, like at the end of the day, also they want to do business, but then of course, like not the right time to talk about that, right? So another case, okay, with the fashion industry, now they start moving instead of producing more garment or more clothes, more t-shirts or shoes. Now they're moving on to producing masks and necessity in both to combat with the COVID-19, and helping all the hospital or helping the like government or frontline workers to combat with this kind of situation. And most of the company, they do it for free because they utilize their manufacturing base and manufacturing workers to even instead of keep producing more of their usual stuff, which is like no one gonna buy at this time, and then they're moving on to just producing more mask or like shirt or for the healthcare worker, anything like that, right? I think it's like this will helping, like all the uh, you know frontline worker during this situation. And even some other company, you will see that they, instead of producing cars, now they are producing ventilator, helping the hospital to combat with this kind of situation, bring more bed, ICU bed. Yeah. And here, actually, Hilton Hotel, right? They team up with American Express to just donate, 1 million hotel room nights across the United States for the medical professional to fighting with the COVID-19. Why would they do that? They need to do that. In here, same in Australia, the Crown Casino, they're offering, all the hotels to the medical workers, to the health workers, to make sure that in case of they've been infected by coronavirus, they have somewhere to stay, even a like 5-star hotel. They've been like a quarantine, or they've been locked down in a good condition, a good environment of where they can stay. And then they're offering that sometimes for free, or even that they work with the banks, they work with other like company. They have a bunch of money they put in place, and but like helping the one that impact the most. um, yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? Too fast? Or I'm gonna pause and check in with you guys to see if
So now, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
okay. Please pause. Please place.
Guys,
Okay. So I hope I hope everyone's still okay. And if you want to listen to me like talking more, I keep going, and then we can have like the Q&A session at the end. Oh, okay. We have one.
there is one question.
Okay.
And, and Hoang, there is one question
Yeah.
from CSR. This is the one the way they marketing their brand or just CSR.
Okay. So um, I would say in a normal situation, the CSR is a part of, they are working on the brand strategy. So I don't think that they will discriminate between CSR and their branding. Because I think that, that is in line, that is a part of, each other. And what the company, they think that of course that would that are their responsibility. Of course, some of the company, they don't really have the CSR, they just have the branding. They just want to like make their brand look good, just want to make their brand help them to uh, selling more stuff or doing more business. They don't really care about the whole society or the whole like situation happening around. But with other company, they might do this as a CSR. I think as first start, or as their first thinking, first thought, rather than doing the branding. If they have like the CSR strategy in place, so instead of like spending more money on like branding through advertisement or PR, they will do that through the CSR, because it should be a right way to do, or it should be a genuine, or it should be a proper way to do. I think that I have also like another next slide that like telling more about what the brand should do during this scenario in general. But of course, like CSR should become first when you're showing that okay, you don't really like doing too much about your branding purpose, but actually at the end there is still branding purpose, but then just showing your responsibility to the society, to the community that you are serving. And of course it's sometimes it's not necessary that have to be your audience. Of course, right, when we do the branding we are targeting to our audience. Of course, if I want to sell something to my audience, I will try to branding myself or my products or my solution to my audience. But like CSR will be broader, like you will care of everyone. It's not just someone will buy your stuff, right? So I think that the most of company, if they have a CSR strategy, they will try to focus more on CSR as a genuine way. And of course, that will be a part of their branding because they are thinking like a broader communication. Sorry, community rather than they're just their audience. I don't know if it's answering your question, but that I'm thinking. Okay, so I give moving on to my next slide. Digital transformation that would be an effective crisis response to the most of the company where they have a condition or they have a chance to do this. Because what? Why? We have seen that like most of the company they still really rely on traditional way or channels of selling their products, right? They put on shelf of the retail shop or supermarket, and now everything happened. Wow. Someone want to say anything? Oh, okay. Yeah, so actually the supermarket is closed, shop is closed, like the store is closed. It's really hard, to reaching out people. People like can't go out. They keep, social distancing. Everything will be reduced. And of course, like instead of, moving away or shutting down business, they will try to have, the replacement methodology to doing business. Instead of, putting on the shelf of the supermarket, they will put online or through e-commerce marketplace, and they still like have the business survive. um, that's the way they do. And of course with the marketing campaigns, marketing strategy, marketing activities, right? Digital transformation that's now is be an effective response if they have been invest or they put money or they have prepare or the platform or the tool in place already. So if the company have that in place, that would be an advantage of them. And why, right? Um, Actually now all the company that practicing more digital learning at the pace of the crisis. And this one is one of the research recently from McKinsey. Um, they're finding out that people they want to know more about how to use the multiple sources of the customer data to access their need, right? Dedicate time to learn more about digital technology. That used to happen every single quarter, but then now they push that like, hey, you have to adapt. That's very quickly, even weekly. You have to train the staff, train the people as fast as they can, and they have to share the test and learn finding across the organization because they don't really have time to just like just mucking around. And they reallocate all the digital content talent among the business unit and function. Like, okay, hey guys, be engaged, do whatever you can to have the company going out with this situation. um, and then I think that that will also reflect into your guys as a student who study branding or marketing or PR or sometimes we have to be innovate on our methodology of learning or process of learning, or the way that we actually react. um, let's say now a company, they require their staff have to know more about digital platform, have to know more about the tool or methodology, have to know more about the bigger picture, how you connect the dot, how you can utilize the tool to make things happen and happen fast. It's not just like waiting and then like showing up all the excuses like, oh, I don't know, no one actually trained me. So like, hey, if you want to survive or if you still want to have a job, you then have to learn it yourself. No one will have time to teach you more. Of course, like that, sometimes that we have to be pushed. And everything comes really fast at this stage. If people want to survive in this industry, like fast moving, especially they used to be very fast moving already, but they're now even faster. Um, and then they use all the scenario to timing and seizing sizing the potential shift around the industrial economics, evaluate their portfolio of opportunities to make sure that you can add more diverse or upsell cross sell in light of digital. They try to utilize digital platform in terms of like selling more as well. Um, Maybe that would be a good chance that you innovate yourself, right? And then they will reallocate all the capital expand across like business unit or across business channel or across business methodology that doing things. Um, and then they find a new cadence, weaken their data review, focus on technology, test and learn. They're learning while they're scaling. Of course, before they want to scale, they have to set up something foundation like sustainable first, and then observing all interaction effects, simplify that, to make sure that the staff they even understand that and that will be well trained to use that technology and be focused on what actually work, right? And try to avoid spending resourcing on what doesn't really work. And everything is don't go it alone. You can't separate like every single campaign or every single channel or every single activity that you do. Everything have to be like compiled as a like full package, and then it's moving across as a like a whole set of connecting the dots. And this one is one of my or one of our my company stack of doing marketing. Marketing nowadays that we are calling modern marketing, that we have like to start with like all the data that you collect from different data point, different data sources. And all the company now jump into this, they have the database, SQL Server, they have all the technology they put in place, AI, machine learning, everything they put in place, and then they analyze that. There is a data lake, data pool, data sort, they have in place. And then after we have the data, and then we analyze that, and then we're reporting in front of like the people with non-tech user like me. I have no idea whatsoever how the tech like behind gonna do that, how they collect the data, how they transferring across, how they cleansing the data. But then when it's come to me, it's showing up all the report, right? Like if I need to talk to someone, I have to know that what should I talk about, like what they want, what they know, what their behavior, what they engage with our content, our products, our tool on the digital. And then we have a sales tool that people used to be familiar with, CRM, and then marketing tool on the top of CRM, that would be marketing CRM, or they call it a marketing cloud, cloud-based platform. And then that will go through to the channel of all web design, development, anything that you put behind your website, you have cookies, you have, all the integration with, all the social media channel as well. That's, become really more complicated. And I think that, come to the very exciting time. If you guys want to know more, I think that you must, because that's, like how you can survive in this industry if you want to, like start a role or a job in the marketing area. Um, we used to come with a former CX, which means customer experience methodology or method, like former, that's more reactive. Instead of, okay, we will learn or we, research based on what they have been, like doing, right? But then now, like people more proactive, they guessing, they predict, everything can, can analyze based on the past, behavior, and then now become is more proactive. They're more like programmatic. They more like predictable behavior. And they have, they used to have FQA format. It's mean like, oh, okay, some frequent asked question format. People know like what customer we ask, but then now it's not. They have to be more engaging. They have to be more media rich format, because you can't just guess what they're gonna like ask or what is popping up in their head. Like people can ask some like very crazy question, or they have very crazy need, or even though that they can't just know maybe what happening next, right? They people like they want a lot. And they used to have like a tool or feature based. They now it's like become a outcome or contextual project based. The ton is used to be very technical. We just know what we know, right? But then now it's more like conversational. It's more consultant. It's more consultancy conversation. It's more like this used to be like talking to the customer. Like we just want to talk whatever we want to talk. But now it's more like social listening. It's like, okay, we just want to tell what they want to hear, right? But before we doing that, we have to put a lot of analysis, a lot of um, researching in place. And then of course, like sometimes we can't do that, by human resource. We have to do that, based on like machine, like by a robot, right? Like there's a lot of things that happening around the industry. Social listening, like they will tracking, they will, like pulling all the data, they will understand, what's your habit, what's your behavior, and then they will collect and they will send through to, like someone like me, who can make the call. And then before I actually talk to you guys, I know what you want to hear, right? And then we used to have a corporate chosen topic. We just like prepare, or we just want to say what we want to say. But then now, okay, customer will be decide what they want to select the topic, what the topic they want to select to hear, right? And it used to be, campaign driven, but then now socially data driven. It's really depend on the data. So I think that we have to understand about data. We have to understand about social media tool. We have to understand, like how we actually react and, in our audience, something like that, right? Of course, this one is maybe it's not really reflecting or it's not really related to the coronavirus situation. But if any company that who have prepared or who have invest into this kind of methodology or like kind of tool platform, they will have advantage, far ahead from their competitors. Yeah. So okay. So this slide that I make, like should be um, reverse, order. That is, like the former CX that you can see is very long and linear timeline. New product feature, to feature-based content and corporate lead content and public reception or PR that you guys call, and the next release, right? That is linear, timeline. But then now, like everything is like a circle that you have to like better be connected dot. You have to test and learn, social communication, like if you want to have like a new product or a new solution, you then have to collect their feedback, and then you have to act. You have to, you know, have A/B testing and refining and call and chat and then listen and, you know, improve, you know, over time. So it's not really linear, but it's like it's a whole cycle that, you know, really organic. Here is, you know, like what I'm doing every day, right? Just, you know, like it's more sharing with you guys that, you know, how is a contact center that, you know, aggregating a multiple data point to support, you know, our activity. Actually, you know, we are doing telemarketing before we actually pick up the call to calling anyone. We actually have all the visibility of the contact, you know, like should be look like what the, you know, like white paper that he's downloading, how long that he stay on our website, which product that he's looking at, what form that he filling, and then what is social um, reaction about our solution. Okay, what he's, you know, like acting on his LinkedIn, his Twitter, his Facebook, Instagram. So it's all, you know, all will be sending through or collecting from, you know, different data source, and then send it through to a data lake, and then it's analyzed. And, you know, when actually it's the time that we are calling, that is popping up, you know, in like in front of our face, and, you know, we have a whole clear, and then we call it, you know, show me what you know me, because when we actually pick up the call, we know that, you know, what is the customer look like, what the persona, what they want, and why we should be talking, and why you should expecting my call. It's not a spam call, it's not a, you know, cold call, it's really really warm call. And there is, you know, there's at the moment now in the market, there are some customer experience platform that, you know, with this one is I'm just showing, you know, with all the five big boys or five big, you know, giants in the industry. There's Adobe, Salesforce.com, Google, Oracle, and SAP. They all have the tool of digital experience, marketing, content, analytics, cloud, advertising, and commerce. And then every single category, they will have different tool. And then if you are very good or you aim to work as a, you know, a marketer, like modern marketer, I think that you should be known, or you should be aware of all of this kind of tool, or maybe just try to learn that, try to be a part of that, try to be engaged with that. And of course, you know, like we are not expecting, or I'm not expecting myself to be very technical about everything that I'm saying, but even though I know that, you know, how to tell a story, how to just, you know, like connecting the dot, how can I ask my agency to do the work that I want, or how I want to set the KPI that I want to track them, something like that, right? So from the point of view of, you know, you guys as a student study marketing should be understand like the theory and what happening, what should I do, what should I learn, what should I upskill myself in order to work in the industry. Is there a, you know, a customer 360 platform? They, most of the company, they they they, they aim, or they try to, you know, like connect all the tool. They just go and just, you know, like acquire, you know, some of the company that they are lacking of, you know, the technology. Let's say here is I'm bringing up, you know, a case study of Salesforce, right? They used to start with, you know, like very number one, very good CRM system, but then they find out that, you know, CRM is not enough, right? Even though that, you know, it's not smart enough for just, you know, have only CRM. And then now they acquire Tableau to make sure that they have the data analytic tool. They acquire, you know, like some Einstein to make sure that they have the AI, you know, the data platform. And then they acquire the apps company as well, integration as well, MoveSoft as well, data, cloud grace. They go out and it's like, okay, what it's just like playing puzzle to see like, okay, which product we are missing, and then they come. And then if the company who who decide to go with Salesforce to buy the software, to buy the tool cloud based, then we have a chance to tap into like every single puzzle, right? Okay, so if you want to use CRM, okay, Salesforce, we have it. If you want to use marketing, if you want to use analytics, we have all. It's like full stop, one stop, right? I think that most of the company will do the same. The big boy, Google, when you want to use that, Google Analytics, they have everything, right? SEO, SEM, like search engine, and then like what your job is just have to learn more. Like Google Digital now, they're offering like the course for free during the pandemic. So yeah, just encourage you guys, be inspired and just learn more. And then here is a digital transformation journey that like building the block for that kind of your strategy, make it strategic, be agile, prototype, have to build digital foundation, strategic partner that you have to evaluate that which one is right one to use, unique insight, tap into the ecosystem. We have to be better understand like what happening around the industry, which one that we should using, break silo, break down the silos into different pieces and then try to connect that together. Okay, I'm talking too much about this, but then I just want to say that during this coronavirus situation, if the company have invest, then we have a like really huge advantage in front of or far ahead their competitors. But if they have not, or if they just like start thinking about it, this now is the time for them to act. This can't wait because like time can wait, right? Like their customer can't wait, so they have to look back and say like, okay, why we exist, like why we want to do what we want to do, right? And then like what the methodology, what tool, what platform that helping us to reaching out more with the clients, with the customer. So we have to thinking through, right? So the company now they have is like no more excuse that not being on the digital transformation journey. So they have to like get on. There's some different way that they can decide which one that they want to go forward, right? So if like the need that they know, or there is a new need, right? Or technology that they know, or the new technology with themselves, that is a whole metric that they can put in play and analyze. Okay, if they want to look for the new option to cater that the unmet need, to solve the new, like, so they have to put into the radical, or that is a metric that they have to place. Any question before I come to the conclusion, guys?
You guys, any questions? You guys, can you still hear?
I think most of them is falling asleep. Okay, so I think that I might want to come through to a conclusion, which is still interesting as well, and then later on you guys can have the Q&A session, and then I will post there to answering any question that you guys might help, might help. Okay. Okay, so that crisis is going to modify for a long term of your brand strategy. This one is I'm picking from one of the students' question like last night. You got asking about if this crisis is going to modify a long-term strategy with the branding. I would say yes, because now it's very good time for the company who can look back all the basic, all the 4Bs, right? And in order to find their core values and focusing on the long-term branding strategy. Why we are saying that? Why we doing this? Because like for the last 10 years, the companies, or most of the company, they're moving on. They're talking a lot about digital transformation, digital tool, digital marketing, and then they try to reaching out to the customer quite a lot through all to the like digital um, channels or digital tool for communication. They focus more on communication. This means outside of their company or outside, because like they want to sell more whatever they want to sell. They want to talk more whatever they want to talk. You guys, if you guys have a Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, how many email, spam email, or even like promotion email that you receive every day? Oh my God. If you just like searching, hey, t-shirts, oh my God, after next minute, a bunch of email that like sending you through your email about your t-shirts that you're looking for, right? Because every tool is very smart. Now they can detect whatever you need, whatever like behavior that you put on like Facebook. Okay, if I'm searching or I'm talking now, they have the AI detect, the voice detect. If we just talking, if I'm just talking with my friend about like, hey, I'm gonna buy a new shoes. Oh my God, after next minute, like it's a bunch of shoes like popping up in front of my head, in front of my face. So like, oh my God, no, it's not a right time sometimes, because like they try to be very smart, right? But it's not smart enough like to be personalized, like what you really want. So okay, the company now should stop or should post all money from the communication too much to their customer, and then looking back to the basic. It's like, okay, why we exist, why we are doing what we are doing, why we want to be exist in this industry, and what the core value that we want to bring on to the table, or to like to pass on to the customer. What's our products, what we need to innovate, what we need to reinvent, and what the pricing. Okay, it's a good pricing that people can afford, or like is any like more flexible that discount that I can give to them by the time that they are vulnerable or they affect a most with the situation. Okay, what the place, what is the proper place mean like the channels that you are approaching, right? What the good place that I put my content, my communication strategy on? Is a Facebook is a good enough? Because like most of my audience is not on Facebook. Like why I have to copy all my competitors channels, and then I put in play, I put I spend a lot of money on, let's say, like take a sample of Facebook. So like why I put a lot of money on Facebook ads, like, where most of my audience is not on Facebook. Like, what I'm gonna do, right? I have to be smart, I have to be proper, choose of the tool that I spend money on, right? Promotion. Okay, what is the good advertisement that I put in place? What my sales force, like how I'm gonna give more promotion during this like situation. And of course, if the company who can win the heart of the customer during this time, that like will be sustained, will be stay for long term, in terms of like, I think that there is a lot of lesson learned during the previous crisis. If the company, they're focusing on reinvent themselves, on the branding, onto like how that can help their people, their community a lot during the difficult time, they will win the heart when it actually everything back to normal, right? People will think, oh my God, during that like a vulnerable time or difficult time, that company, what they have done, not just for me, but for the whole society, for the whole community, right? And then I think that that brand or that company will win the heart. Let's say like I talked to you guys about the Kia model. Of course, like when I look at the story, I know that maybe they push a lot for the PR, but then it's like, okay, but that is a good reason. You spend like $1 million onto helping the homeless youth during this crisis. Like, how awesome is it, right? Because of course, like that's win my heart. If like I'm gonna buy anything, am I thinking that a company who really look after the community, right? Let's say the company like Louis Vuitton during this crisis, they were not focusing, like producing more, perfume, but they will do hand sanitizer, right? They will produce that and then give it to the hospital for free. Because, like I said, hey, I just want to utilize my manufacturing change or channel and doing so. And even though I don't need to, PR about that, I don't need to be advertised about it because I doing because, generally from the bottom of my heart. So that company, when we know the story genuinely, we will think that, oh my God, the company, they just, like don't really want to tap into their audience, but, whoever that they can help, right? Or the most like the people need the help the most, right? Let's say like frontline worker. Okay, the company like Nike, right? Nike, um, if they are like switching, like instead of producing more shoes, they're producing masks or like protection necessity to the frontline worker. Of course, that's not their end audience, but it's good, right? So if the company who is like thinking long term enough to not just like try to solve their short term issue, but then it's like, okay, why we exist like above or beyond our target market, like what else that we can do to help like other people as well, right? Even though they are not my customer, they are not our customer, we're still helping them, we still help them, right? So I think it's good, genuinely from the ESR, like the other student asked me, like previously. It's good that like you're focusing on long-term brand strategy, looking look back to the basic 4Ps. I think that you guys all know like 4Ps. You like practicing a lot, or do a lot of homework about 4P. What does this mean? But then it's a good time that really looking back or look through to that. What does it mean? Okay, so how you protect your brand during the crisis? Of course, like we not try to harm that more because that's been impact already. So like how you can protect or how you can, like make it, even survive or make it look better when it's everything, back to normal. So if you're making a bold, making bold marketing decisions now can pay a dividends later. It's mean like it's will help you. So of course, if you have appropriate response, okay, people will not, like just talking to each other about your brand, about your scandal, or anything like that, right? So have an appropriate response. So during the crisis, it's more important than ever that the like for the brands to understand the customer perspective, like have the show the empathy, right? It's not just like chasing more for business. No, no, it's not a priority. Of course, like if you don't have enough money, you will die, right? Like for business, but it's not the right time to just keep chasing people on hey, give us money, give us money. No, of course not. And then have to be more creative, and then don't be more creative about the coronavirus, about the COVID-19, because it's enough. Everything is enough. The fact is enough from the government officer, from the health specialist. We don't need to be more creative, like to telling more about that, right? But we can use our creativity to help others, to help the people, right? And then we should, show up our sensitivity in like our communications, messaging, right? And purposeless communication. It doesn't take a pandemic to recognize the need of purposely communication to be genuine, right? But it's certainly a similar facts. It's mean like it's old time that is really important already, but then now is a time that that we're looking at that most, right? Purposely communication. We have to come, and of course like first of all, hey, number one, I will looking I'm looking after my staff and their family. Of course, if internally the employees feel that, oh my God, my company looking at after myself, take care of myself, family, of course I will work for them, like until I die or something like that, right? And then you can pass on that message to your customer because okay, my company is very, very, very good to me. Let's say like Miss Tuyan when she talk about Hoa Sang University with the old brow, with all her brow, and then you know of the university. So I understand that okay, her university treat her really well, right? Instead of something nonsense, right? So they treat the teacher, they treat the lecturer, they treat the staff very well. So they can pass on that, like proud to the student, right? To make sure that they understand as well that, like how awesome of the school, of the university. So yeah, that's what I mean to say. Innovation at pace. Of course, like one of, marketing expert said that it's like, we we greatly exaggerate the risk of sinking without celebrating the value of swimming. Hey, now it's time to show that like you can swim. Don't just like scare people more on like the risk of sinking. Everyone knows that if you don't know how to swim, of course you sink. So don't talk more about that. Don't talk more about the risk of sinking, but just learn to swim and then show and then celebrate everyone that we can swim, right? If we can swim, okay, we will survive. So yeah, I mean that what everything that I want to say. And it's moving on to the Q&A. But of course, like there will be some um, plus that I will show you how to measure a brand strength or like status. But this one is, I think that you guys have studied already. It's just more like how you can audit a brand or how you can audit your marketing strategy, something like that. But yeah, back to the Q&A. I think that I will be focusing more on gonna answer your question.
Okay,
Are we,
guys. Thank
are we
you.
running out of time or still in control?
Yeah, in the control. Yeah,
Okay, good.
guys. Do you still here? Do you have any questions? Because there's a lot of things here covered in the workshop. Yeah, especially brand and PR. Yeah, questions for your contribution mark and questions here. If you got the questions, we can got the gift for you guys. What is the gift here? The gift here is Mr. Hoang got one of, yeah, collect all of the websites of the free e-learning class. Okay, and if you got one questions, so I will send to you all of this in the work document. Understand? So please write the question and I will add to your contribution mark. Free e-learning class, but the links, he collect all of the links for you guys to serve you and have you go through the pandemic, the virus corona. Okay, do you need
I,
time?
actually, if anyone want to ask me in Vietnamese, feel free to do so too. Don't hesitate. I know I'm talking a lot in English, but I'm just wondering if you guys like understand me or my English is really bad or no one say anything.
If you're not confident in English, you can type Vietnamese, so I will translate to the international student.
Oh, I want to be more interactive. You can unmute your video or unmute your voice, and then you can showing up and then talking.
There's one question from Hoang. Okay. Anyone else? Các bạn còn lại ạ.
Okay, so I'm gonna answering Nguyễn Khánh Hoàng question about how much time do you think the economy would need to fully recover after this incident? That's really tough question. Even though the government officer, even or any specialist, I try not to speculate or I try not to say anything. I'm not an expert on the economy, or I'm not an economist. But in my opinion, um, of course, we are still doing what we are doing. I think especially for my company, my business, my team, I'll try my best every single day, every single month, every single time that we've been, and then we feel grateful that we still have a job, we still can serve our customer, our staff, our team. Um, but Okay, so everything will be back to normal, I guess, in Australia about July, that people start to, um, I mean, going out to the, to the public again. But then I think it will take years, or even, at least 1 year for everything just, back to normal for some industry. Of course, you might say that some sector is quite doing okay. Let's say, Netflix, right? People, when we are staying at home, okay, we're watching a lot of online movie or Netflix. That will be like increasing their revenue, or even Amazon, right? People, they need to buy or the shopping online, so maybe Amazon is still doing okay. But of course, like when you're talking about the whole economy, I don't know. But I think that the government will be play really important role to make sure that they support all the economy, or the businesses, or the company, or the job seeker, job keeper. Yeah. So from my prediction, I think at least 1 year.
Yeah, I want to add on one thing that I heard. I read economic expert and financial expert that it is the same like Mr. Hoang said about 1 year, and in some of perception, some of them they will think that only about 2 or 3 months we will recover the economy, but unluckily this will not. Okay, so we have to suffer the pain, and the economic crisis is at least 1 year. Okay, so a lot of the unemployment, how can we say it, the death, but luckily in Vietnam we don't have much death from the government side. We don't have much death, and we still grow. Okay, and now today we nearly end of the social distance period, and next week we will also open some of the store, restaurant, and yeah, gym and massage. Hopefully that will take the economic will be growth. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question will be what is from Phạm Vĩnh Tiến? What is the most necessary things company need to do to recover from this incident? Um, I think first of all, of course, that will be a bunch of action that they need to do. But first of all, if they have a chance, they should taking care of their staff, because if they have no staff, I don't think that they can do anything during this time or even after the crisis. Look after themselves, look after their family, and try to um, look after the the adoption of instead of working in the office and moving on to working from home. um, that is the workplace. And the secondly will be cutting all the unnecessary costs that might impact their cash flow in the short term. And try to have more business, try to sending out more invoices, um, or have to be more have to be more creative to utilize their existing resource to help each other or to help their business. Um, yeah. So that is from my point of view that the company should do. And of course, in terms of, if they want to look at the, brand or the marketing strategy that I said, looking back to the 4Ps and yeah. Is there,
Okay,
oh,
yeah, I want to add on that how can we survive through this pandemic. Okay, in the case of the Hoa Sen University, you already know that we are saving. What we saving? We selling a lot electricity. Okay, when the student not come, we cut down all of the electricity, cut down the water, or even the toilet paper in the university, and only one campus run, only one or two campus run. Okay, saving, and we got job rotation. Job rotation. Person A we work from Monday, and person B we work from Tuesday. So we rotate and rotate to saving the money, to saving the salary. Okay, there we got a lot of the face a lot of challenge at this moment now. Okay, but we know that we have to continuously to work and motivate to stay positive. Yeah. Okay, move on,
okay.
Miss.
Yeah, so okay, so I think that we have one another question from Phạm Ngọc Quế. Is there any way for a small scale startup to survive in this pandemic in finance and social media related? Okay, to be frank, I would say that with the startup business, I think that there will be a difficult time with them, like when they actually start thinking of they start anything already, which is even though adding on with this pandemic is also not a good case for them. I doubt that um, there will be a lot survive during this time, because that is a startup life. They have to deal with like the difficulties all the time, vulnerable things all the time, and even with this one, um, I think that that's really tough. I don't think of any other thing. Of course, I'm not in the area of startup. I try not to give any comments, but I think it's very tough for them. Even though that is in a normal situation, it's tough already, which is you guys may know that only 5% will survive after 5 years of startup time. So yeah, even with this, sorry, I'm not optimistic about startup. I don't know if answer that question from Quế.
Where is it okay? Can you hear?
Uh, may I ask some more question
Yes, of
related to
course.
mine? Yeah. So yeah. Regarding of small scale startup. So do they just need like a strong finance foundation to survive, or yeah, if they have lots of money, then do they need to care about other things? Because when we do startup, yeah, money is the first thing. So if they have strong foundation about finance, so do you think that they will survive in this pandemic?
Okay, so sadly, I would say that okay, we start up business, right? Um, of course, money is king, cash is king for all the business. It's not just a startup, but sometimes you might think of the point of view of when you're not doing anything, even better than that you try to do something, especially during this situation. Um, if the company they have existing resources in terms of money, finance, staff, and then of course somehow they can utilize that existing resource to survive. And I know that like some staff, like they start with like themselves, even though they don't really have to pay the salaries. They just like spending all the time, maybe 24 hours per day. It's really hard. It's hardship already, and then the pandemic is just more like adding on more hardship. It's not like anything easier. And of course in front of the list of the priorities candidate need to be support from the government. I doubt that like startup will be like one of their priorities to support. With all the money from the investor, I think that they try stop to invest on anything that like they are not sure if the outcome like will be right. So I mean, like of course, as I said, right, I'm not optimistic about startup. Of course, because that is the journey that they chose. Somehow that they have to be more creative on how they want to be survive. Yeah, but like I have never think of anything that they might, or maybe like that if they still have some research they may like try for people to try out their solution or their software or anything like that. I have known some of the staff in education sector during this time they will try to give out so like okay people like start using that for free and give them feedback, and of course that will help at uh, some certain extent yeah some but I don't think that most because I don't really know what they're gonna do stop if they have like a really firm solution or like things to do or not. Yeah, it's hard for like even the big or the medium company, like not just um, yeah, but then with the startup or the small or the company who need they really need cash. I don't think that is good for them this time.
Yeah, yeah, I got your answer. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's a yeah, it's a
Mm.
tough question for us
Yeah.
because we are not the government. We cannot help them with the finance or
Mm.
um, like other support. Then I just wonder that
Yeah.
is there any way for them to like
even
go through this?
yeah, even here I would share with you like the case of Australia, how they are helping a small business. It's not just a startup in a like technology, but a small business. They will have a package they call it's a job keeper. It means that if the small company they have the staff, right, they're paying their salary, and then the government will support that employee who we pay $1,500 every fortnight. So let's say every month, like they will get like 3,000. dollar in their pocket. If the company who can prove that they have, the revenue reduced by 30%. So I mean, like they have to run a lot of, revenue tests, and like you have to commit that you pay the money to the employees to make sure that they keep them the job in the business. But then I mean, a lot of tests, and of course they have to have the revenue already to prove. But of course, I don't really know if with the startup you guys have, like all the costs or the salary pay or the revenue have to be proven. That have to put in play as well. I think in Australia we do. Of course, like they will support if the company have just, running at least, like 2 months. So you have, like you have the data to compare. Okay, I compare myself, from January and February, and I saw that, like my revenue, accidentally, I dropped by 30% or even more than that. Of course, like you will be eligible to apply for that package. Yeah, but I mean, like the package is more, like keep paying, the out pocket money to the staff. It's not just, like keep funding to their business. Of course, like no one gonna fund anyone, by this time. Even though like the Virgin Airlines, the government they just, let them go. Just, okay, you can just file for bankruptcy. No one gonna help you at this time because you are not really essential business that we can help. They just help, the healthcare services, or front line, or even the restaurant. It's really hard now. They have to prove that, okay, they lose a lot of revenue over the time.
Okay, for the question of where, I want to add on one thing is that Mr. Hoang already mentioned about Australia. How about the Vietnam? In the Vietnam case, the government, what they did, they reduced the electricity. Guys, they will reduce electricity in May. Okay, and when you are unemployed, you can go to them. Yeah, 10%. Yeah, when you are unemployed, you can got 1 million. I remember 1 million Vietnam dong per month. Yeah, if you work for those industries like hospitalities, travel, and tourism. Yeah, it is the help and the support from the government grant. Yeah. Okay. Okay, wait. So far so good.
I think now we have another question from Cường. I don't know if we still have time to run in this, but yeah,
Yeah, I think
you
that
want to help.
you get Cường and Quân together because it is nearly the same questions.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they asked, like, do you think the way we work will be changed, like preaching work, etc. online after crisis in the future? Um, I mean, I myself, I'm not surprised, or I'm not, like, I'm really familiar with, like, distant working. I used to work for a company where I work as a freelancer with my company in UK, or when I work with, a Polycom company. I just based in, Ho Chi Minh, and my boss is in Hanoi, something like that. So we work like far long distance, and I'm like some of like the people really familiar with that. And some company they have equipped, their staff to be working from home, working long distance already. So I think this one is just, adding more, like people will get used to, some of, they will be more flexible, and giving more flexibility of, how the company should work. But of course, like everyone just, like wish, everything will be back to normal when they come to the office. Of course, like sometimes face to face is still even, better if they have an opportunity to do that. A classroom, of course, like I think that you guys really want to meet each other. Like study, like remote learning is quite, boring sometimes. Of course, just few time is okay. Try to save your time for traveling. But of course, most of the time, if you keep doing that, it's really affect your mental health as well. I'm get really bored if I have no one to see, no one to talk to. like I can't see my like team member, anything like that. So it's getting really frustrated sometimes. So I think that it's just adding more on the flexibility of how you can conduct the work rather than replace it. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah, I want to add on one more thing about transformation, about digital. Okay, in the facilities of our university, normally before the coronavirus, before that, we all got only offline, okay? And now, all of the lecturer at Hoa University, they can know well how to use Google Meet, how to use Big Button, and how to use the e-learning system. So they also got the certificate of the digital as well. So you see that the digital transformation from the offline to the online, and now you see that we are on the online workshop, okay, online workshop, and now we reach nearly 90 students, 94 students. When I join a lot of offline, I never see the number this ever before. Exactly, 94 students never before. Only on online we can gather the student like this one. Okay. Okay, Hoàng, do you have any? And Hoàng, do you have any something else to add on?
Uh, no, I think that I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. With some university, even in here in Australia as well, I think that like they won't have anything that hold them back, for the studying. Like they keep running with online courses and yeah, I think that education they will have a chance to do. But I mean, with the like lower level or like junior level, like high school or even secondary or like primary school, it's really tough for the kids. It's really tough for the children because they are not really get used to it.
Just
And somehow we try to like get them stay away from technology. Like it's too early, it's too soon. Yeah.
okay, Như, your turn. Let's
So,
go and see.
the time for the seminar has ended. So, thank you for your attendance and thank you to our guests for sharing the time with us today. I hope you guys enjoy the program and we will back to the school in the next few days. So, listen, everyone had a good health. And once again, thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening to ourselves this today. Okay, have a good Sunday, guys.
Okay, thanh Mr. Hoàng, thanh Như.
Okay, thank
Bye
you, guys.
class.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye class.